So I've been using that yard striper on my lawnmower for about 3 years now, and it seems to be working out pretty damn good. The lawn looks good. It's got a nice striping effect. I think I'm going to put some concrete inside of it, though, to make it a little bit heavier. Alright, so the Bad Cat zebra striped orange guitar Les Paul style is complete. Set up and running, but you're not going to hear it just yet. Strings are stretching a little bit on there, and I'm going to just kind of see where this neck falls as far as after my setup goes, just to make sure things are, going to be nice and snug and not goofy. Never heard of zebra striped wood before. Not sure how it is as a neck, so I want to make sure that the truss rod and everything else kind of stays put where I set everything at. So I'm going to give it a couple days, see what happens. It sounds good. I love that Jimmy Page setup. Especially with the Seymour Duncan's Mayhems, those are kind of nice. And if you saw the headstock logo that is different from the last time you saw the headstock, that's because I refinished it. And Jeff over at Diamond Cut Graphics USA pulled through not only once but twice and sent me a set of logos for my channel, actually for the guitars, and these are the logos. So you kind of see they're a little bit on the tall side, a little bit on like stretched a little bit, and it fits on the Les Paul headstock barely. It kind of goes, the sides kind of go into the binding just a little bit. Now, like I said, Jeff not only came through once, but he came through twice. So he remeasured everything, and he's sending me out some new ones to replace these guys. It's kind of my fault. I ended up sending him the measurements. He went by the measurements, and this is what came out of it. But yeah, so that was my fault. But anyways, I don't mind it, especially on this headstock here. It kind of goes into the binding a little bit, just gives it a little bit more of a customization. So what is going on next? Well, I got a couple of things. One thing I'm going to do right now is an unboxing that's going to be put on hold until I finish something else that I promised for a friend. But I'm going to do an unboxing of what I picked up. So here we go with that. So if you see this large box sitting on top of my workbench right now and you sit there and say, oh, that's another kick guitar, you are exactly right. So let me get my knife, razor blade, whatever, and open this thing up. I'm going to show it to you guys. This is another one kind of with a unique top that I wanted to grab right away before somebody else did. Did I miss some tape? Yeah, I did. How did I do that? How did that happen? All right, now she should open. All right, so this was another eBay find, and again, you got your goodie bag with all your electronics and stuff. These guys sent me a strap. Yeah, okay, kind of cool. All right, so I'm going to show off the neck first. Now the headstock on this has not been cut yet, so I'm going to have to cut the headstock. But you can kind of see it's a little bit on the PRS style, no? So right off the bat, the frets feel pretty good. It's a maple scarf joint. I'm going to have to cut the cutout inside the top, or I can cut it to whatever I want. It's got the bird inlays. And they did a decent job with the bird inlays on here. I don't see, this one's got a little bit of fill on it, that one's got a little bit of fill, this one's got a tiny bit in the corner. But yeah, it worked out pretty good. It doesn't look bad at all. This fretboard's going to look nice. And a bone nut, or plastic nut, that's got to go. I want bone on there. So that is the neck of this. I can smell that wood. The body, on the other hand, is got a unique pattern. It is a spalted maple top, and that's the reason why I got this. Because this is not going to get painted. It's going to get stained. And when I stain it, after the staining, it's going to get not clear coated, but epoxied. gotta be basswood, it's pretty light. Alright, I don't know if you can see that. See that nice flaming going on, stripes going across here. Split spalted maple veneer. And it's a little on the thin side. Let's see how many pieces this body is. 1, 2, I want to say 3 pieces of wood. Yeah, 1, 2, and then there's a third one right here. So it's a PRS style. Even has a little cutout over here, and boy, it's rough. You have to do some sanding on this thing here, but there is some flaming going on over here. All right, some striping going on. And what I was thinking about doing is hitting this with some black after I raise the grain with some water. Hit it with black, sand the black down. You know, do a light tint on there of the black. Sand that down, and it's going to expose these lines going across here, and it's not going to hurt any of this striping here. Then maybe hit it with a very, very light, maybe a green or a red, really light, and it'll be transparent enough to where the flame is going to show up, and so is all the markings in the wood. Nothing's going on this as far as any type of a decal or anything else. That will be the headstock only. But yeah, this thing is pretty nice. Pretty nice. Yeah, that looked like a crack, but it's not a crack. It's just something in the wood. And a beautiful job on the binding. You can see a little bit of glue right there. Just a single ply binding. Not a big deal. Gonna have some rough grain over here to sand. Yeah, the epoxy resin is really going to give this some depth once it cures up, and even with the coloring on there, it's going to have some depth to it. And yeah, that's going to look really nice. Now the bridge is going to be replaced on this. Pickups are going to be replaced on this. I'll be not using the hardware or the electronics that come with this guitar. So between electronics and the hardware, bridge, and tuners, that's all going to be replaced. I won't be using anything that's inside this bag. But this is going to be put off to the side because I have something else that I need to start working on and get it done and ship back to my friend. Damn it. Right here is the next project that will be starting this week. Actually, I'm going to disassemble it probably today, which is Friday, and start doing all the other process. Now, the reason why I don't like doing like more than one project at a time, because it's a lot of parts, a lot of different screws, and you know, I don't want to mix and match somebody else's parts with my parts, and you know, whatever. But anyway, so let's kind of get this thing open here. Now, I have to say, this thing was wrapped, I mean, really good. It was wrapped very, very good. So let's get this thing out of here first. Alright, so what we have here is a Kramer. And it looks like a hot pink Kramer. Ooh, there's a love letter here. Let's see this. Let me take this out first. Got a love letter. Let's peel this thing off. Take a look at her. Oh, this thing's beautiful. So the body doesn't look so far that bad, but there is some breaking and there's some cracking on the sides over here. So let's get this out of this foam padding. Oh yeah. Yeah, these electronics are going to need some work. That bridge is pretty much sitting flat. That's probably why you can't put the back plate back on it. got an EMG pickup on it. So there were some issues here I noticed. Yeah, I got some cracking in the finish going on over here. Now what I want to do is I want to see if that's actual cracking through the wood or into the wood, or just finish cracks. And when I figure out what it is, after I start to sand this thing down, let's see if I can put a feeler gauge into the crack itself, you know, like a 2000s feel, you know, the smallest one I have, and see how far it goes. If it goes only like a minimum, then the wood's okay, it's just a finish that's cracking, but that'll be all taken care of. So hot pink, huh? Now the 5150, I'm going to have to see about maybe getting a new one if he wants this still. I have to ask him about that. It's got an actual Floyd Rose, and these are like kind of pushing forward maybe a little bit. Yeah. Let's see if I got a whammy bar I could screw into there, because it's a screw-in whammy bar unless he's got one. But yeah, this is pretty much docked. Strings are on top of the fretboard. Neck is pretty straight. Some sharp frets. There's still enough meat on these frets to, well, these frets are pretty flat. Like they haven't been crowned. Oh boy, yeah, I'm going to have to, I might have to refret this. I don't know. Yeah, there's some wearing going on in the frets, and they're kind of flat. Like these ones down here, they got a nice hump in the center of them. This one here, these are all kind of flat. I want to say, I think he said in his video that this was like his first guitar. And I don't know how old this thing is. I'll have to look up the serial number on it. But for what it looks like, for, you know, something that he says was his first, it's not in bad shape. And it doesn't look like anybody resprayed this. This looks like that's the way it came from the factory. So I have to figure out the wiring, because I don't think this came with an EMG on it. The neck doesn't feel bad at all. The neck fretboard is actually in good shape. It's a little bit on the dry side, not too bad. Some of the frets, I'm going to work on the fretboard first, carry into the body. How are these tuners? The original Kramer tuners? Yeah, the original Kramers. I think they're Kramers. I don't have my glasses. I can't see if it says Kramer on them or not. Well, one of them says, I think, Jackson on it. No, I think they all say the same thing. Yeah, I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see that. So what is the love letter? Let's see. Oh, man. Never mind. I gotta have a talk with him. Well, thank you very much. Walking in a box, but you didn't have to do what you just did, and that you didn't have to do this. In fact, you didn't have to do this at all. So whatever parts I put into this thing are coming out of this. So that's how this is going to work, if you like it or not. All right. So we got three-way switch here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5-way switch here. Probably 2 volumes and 1 tone, or is it 2 tones and 1 volume? It's 2 tones and 1 volume. So it's kind of set up like a Strat. All right, that's my story. I'm sticking to it, and I'm going to be removing some stickers off here, and I hope he doesn't mind, and doing a little bit of touch up on the headstock. I could see it needs a little bit of touch up on there, a couple spots. This will be, well, it won't be a brand new guitar, but when I give it back to him, it'll be damn near close to it. Stay tuned for this guide and its teardown.